Welcome to Websites for Beginners. This is JP here, and a lovely morning. It's very early here, but I'm an early riser and it's still cool outside. From 9 o'clock onwards, it gets unbearable outside at this time of the year. Can you believe, you Northern Hemisphereans, that we have Christmas in summer? Yes, how can Christmas be anything different? Let's look at the table widget add-on for Elementor, both the free and the pro version, and this is from Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor. If you want to know more about Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor, please follow the link in the description below and go check out all the great widgets they have that's included in the Elementor widgets bundle. Now, a table is again one of those things. It's just like a mattress. You never talk about a mattress. You don't even consider a mattress. You can walk by 20 mattress stores and you will never see the mattress until that day you have to buy a mattress, and suddenly you notice all the mattress advertisements. You see everything connected to mattresses. You hear people talk about mattresses, and the table widget is something very similar. I would say a lot of websites that I've worked on, I never had a need for a table. But then comes along, especially corporate websites where they have to put on their listing and shares and stocks and things, and it gets very complicated, and you soon realize you need a table for that. The Ultimate Add-on widget that does the table for you can do this very nicely, and I'm going to show you first here, just a few examples from their website. And then I'm going to tell you that styling, getting it to have this color, getting it to have the font size, getting it to have these nice lines and stuff. These are the easy ones. The difficult one will be building it. Not that much difficult, but then in the end, it's going to take a little bit of your time. This is one of those things that takes time, yes. But there are two ways that you can be doing it. You can be building it within the widget, or you can be bringing in a CSV, which is an unglorified Excel file, into the widget, and it will display it automatically. And I'm going to show you how to do that in both of those options. So I've made here two tables, and I made these two to show you. This one we're going to build from scratch so you can understand how this widget builds the table. And I also want to add this: if you have other add-ons for Elementor, other plugins from other buyers or developers, you will know that these table widgets all work more or less the same. So if you can master one, you're going to be able to master them all. The second one, I'm going to show you how we can do this, what we call merge cells. If you work in Excel, we call it merge. How can we do this that it displays across rows and it is display here across these two columns? Let's jump in, and I'm going to create another section down here so we have some space for that one up there. Let's also put it into two columns because to give it a little bit of space. And I'm just going to make this a minimum height so we have some area to work with. First thing you have to do is search for that, and I'm just going to type in table, and you will see here it says table with the Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor logo up here in the top right hand corner. Drag it and drop it in here, and you will immediately notice that it does create a table for you, and this is already populated here on the left. I'm going to remove all of that, so I'm going to show you from the beginning how to do that. So don't get all excited if you don't know what's going on here. It seems it doesn't want to delete those ones, but I'm going to delete these. They want to keep at least something for the header. Two things. Seems I can't delete the last two. These will always be there. The first thing you need to tell your table, and this is where things get a little bit weird, but you have to just follow these rules. The first thing you need to tell your table is that the first thing you enter here is a row. Okay, you are identifying to the widget we are working with a row, and that you get under action, and you click here and you say start new row, and that is all you're going to do. And I am going to, now it says heading to, I want to say, let me just remove this title so we don't get confused, then say start new row. You see now it displays that only there row. Now we can begin to start building our table. The first part is a heading now, and this is the table header, so it identifies it as a header. And the reason it identifies it as a header is that later on, like in this example where you want to add sortable elements, it will know it uses the header for that. So you need to identify your header if you are going to be making a table. In fact, as you just saw, you cannot not have a header. It will require you to have a header at all times. So now let's start here. We have week 11, 12, and 13, and then we have two employees, Jack and Jill, and their weekly sales that they were making for week 11, week 12, and week 13. So what we want to build now is our header. The first part is this week. So I'm going to put it on week, and that is the content. That's all I need to do, and I'm going to click and keep it there on add a new cell, and then I close it. Now these two that you see down here, they are not part of the header. They are here under the table content. So don't get distracted by these two loose boys down there. Let's go back to the table header. Now we want to add in Jack. Now you can add a new item and then you can do the same thing. I'm going to delete that. You must learn how to use the copy function when working with these tables. It's going to save you a lot of time. If the cell next to this one is similar to that one, then just copy it and change the name. So I'm going to click here on the two little pages, copy it, click on it, and then change the name here and call it Jack. And then we do it a third time. And this one we're going to call Jill. And then as it updates here at the bottom, you can see we have week, Jack, and Jill. Do not be concerned. We are going to fix that now. Good. Now we are done with the header. That's it. Styling comes later under style. Let's go to table content. And again, you have to go through that thing where you have to identify the row first. I'm going to delete the name here, over here in text. And then I'm going to change the action to start new row and close it. Next, this is now our first one. The row element, just for your information, the row element will never display. You will never see it says row. It is an action command that it gives the widget. So the first one now we want to add here week 11. And you always work from left to right, down, left to right, down, left to right. This is how you build it up. Always keep that pattern in mind. It works from left to right. So we are here now, which is week 11. I'm going to type under text week 11 and close it. And there you see, now we have that week 11. What did I tell you? If I'm going to do the same for the next cell, we just duplicate it. So I'm going to click on the duplicate button, open it up, and type in week 12. Let's see it update. And why is that wrong? Because I told you from left to right. So you have to use this. You cannot do week 11, week 12, and week 13. You have to move from left to right. So we go back to week 12 and we change that to, what dollar is that? $240. Okay, close it. There we see. Now it's nicely under Jack. Next for Jill, we are going to, yes, duplicate it. And Jill got $798. $798. Right. Let me show you what happens if I duplicate this cell now. It will add it there. And this is why you need this instruction for the row. You have to tell the widget, wait, I'm going to start a new row. So please don't add it there. So I'm going to delete it. And please, again, follow the advice. Use the duplicate function. It will save you a lot of time. We've made the row up here. I'm just going to duplicate it and then drag it down all the way down here. Now I have instructed the widget that I have a new row. The next thing is I want to have my next week, which is week 12. So I'm just going to go up here to this week 11, duplicate it and drag it down. Now it should appear under here. We should have two week 11s. So I'm just going to go and change the text. And you're starting to get the picture that this can take quite some time. So again, I'm going to duplicate that, and then it's 563. 563, duplicate it. Next one is 800 US dollars or whatever dollars. And now we're going to start our third row for the contents. And by now you should know you have to instruct the widget to add a new row. I'm going to duplicate this row and drag it down. And then week 12, again, duplicate it, drag it down, go change it, make it week 13. And then we have that, which is not a dollar, it's a S. What it should be dollar. I'm going to duplicate and then type in, where's my dollar, 606. And then the last one, we're going to add annual leave. And that is everything I wanted to show you, just how to build it. That was the entire purpose of this little trick here, is to get your head around. You have to create a header, you have to put in a row command, and then you have to add these cells. Then you go to your body. Then you have to first enter a row command, add the 3 cells, add another row command, add 3 cells, add another row command, add 3 cells. And immediately you're thinking to me, I sit here with a table that's got like 1,000 entries. You really expect me to do that? Yes, maybe. And I say maybe because I'm going to show you later in this video how you can do that very easily by using Excel or any CSV document to bring in that data. But there's a difference between the two. What is important, and I'll make that difference clear now, is that if I made a mistake here, or if I want to change something, like I find out, oh, that guy's name isn't Jack, his name was John. All I need to do is go here, where it says in the header, where it says Jack, and I can just go in here and I can type John. And now it will update to John. This is the benefit of this method. The other method I will show you later is once you bring it in, you cannot edit it. You have to go and back into Excel every time, edit it in Excel, and then import it again. But if you are working with thousands of entries in one, I would probably go for the second option, even if you need to make changes later. Right, so I'm not going to style this one now, because I first want to bring you to this next beast on how we are going to achieve this. Now this is taxonomies or categories. Maybe it is something that you are updating for a person who is using your posts and your custom types, and you want them to understand the taxonomies. You have your main category, travel and food, and under that you have the continents, then you have countries that you've done traveling to, and then food you classify of simple food, exotic food, and for the strong of stomach, not the strong of heart. How can we achieve this one? Let's make a new column down here. I'm going to again just make it 2, and then let's drag in, go search for that table element from Ultimate Addons, and drag it in there. Here you need to get your counting in order, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you drag it in, you will see it already creates a header like this, and it creates 3 rows, and all of those settings are already applied here. If I go to the table content, you will see it starts with a row instruction, those 3 cells, another row, 3 cells, another row, and 3 cells. And I'm showing you this because for me, when I work like this, I don't delete this. I just change everything in here. So for example, category, subcategory, and then sub. So let's go to the table header. And then here where it says sample ID, I'm going to just type in here under the text, and I'm going to make this category. And that's all I'm going to do because these things are already there. I don't need to go and reinvent the wheel. Subcategory, and then for this one, we're going to call it sub. And it should update there. We've already got that header over there done. Right. Now we are going to be working with the rest. What is important here, very, very important, is that when you make this one, you need to go and draft this table on paper before you start doing it on your page builder, because you need to know how many rows you are going to have eventually. If you look at this entire section here for travel, how many rows in this entire section? And you look here at Madagascar, Vietnam, Indonesia, Sweden, and the Netherlands, and you count 5. That is important because it means that this block here actually represents 5 rows. Okay, and you'll see soon what I mean. We go now to table content, and hold on, buckle up, here we go. The first one we are not going to change. Row is a row, it's an instruction. The next one is this one called travel. So we're going to type in travel. To get this travel to span over these 5 rows, we go to this one over here that says advance. And then here it says column span, row span. And we want to span it over these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So we increase it to 5. Nothing is going to change in great effect here because currently we only have 3 rows. But you can see the travel here has already started to span over those rows. All right, hold on, let's go next one. So now we work, remember, left to right. We've done travel, next one is Africa. So we go to the next one and we change this one to Africa. And Africa spans over how many rows? Only 1, so we don't need to make any changes. Next one is going to be Madagascar. And that's it. Now after Madagascar, we need to instruct it to go to the second row. And you can see it has done that. There is a row 1 here. Next, from left to right is Asia. And Asia spans over how many rows? 1, 2. So let's type in here Asia. And then you go to advance. And you tell it to span over 2 rows. Make it 2. Now you can see 2 rows here. Next, after Asia, left to right is Vietnam. So you go after Asia and you click on this one and you type in Vietnam. But now you understand, you need to go to the 3rd row. So you need to tell your widget to add a new row. So I'm going to duplicate this row and drag it under Vietnam. See, now it move it. So we go to this one, and now we're going to add in Indonesia. Great. And there's already a row instruction after Indonesia. What's next is Europe. And Europe spans over 2 rows. So we have to do the same. Go over here, cell number 3, and type in Europe. Go to advance. And row span, make it 2. After that comes Sweden, so we put in Sweden over there. And after you've done Sweden, now you have to instruct it to make the last row for that one. So you just duplicate the row and drag it under Sweden. And now you are here at the last one. And that would be the Netherlands. See, we've done it. It takes a little bit getting used to, but once you've mastered this, it becomes really easy. It's one of those things, the first time it really looked to me like a mountain I had to climb, but lately it's just running up a hill. As long as it's a small table like this, it goes very quickly, but when it comes to 100+ entries, it becomes really tedious and you need a lot of coffee to get through that. Now we have to get into this part of the table. Now we're not going to be spanning rows anymore. Now these cells are going to be spanning columns. Here we have 2 columns, but this cell is across 2 columns. First thing we have to do is instruct this widget that we need a new row, because now we have to start here with food. So let's go here, close that, copy this row and drag it under here. And now I'll just add a new item from the beginning, which is a cell, and we're going to call this food. So let's start again food as well. Food spans how many rows? 1, 2, 3. So we have to instruct it under advance, row span, 1, 2, 3. And now after food, we get to our first part is simple. So we add that one. And I'm going to type in simple. And now we go to advanced, because simple here has to span both columns. And I'm going to instruct it here under advanced column span 2. Right, you can see very nicely done. Exotic and for the strong of stomach is exactly the same. So no reason to go and add a new one. You simply duplicate this one, simple, because it already has that instruction to span 2 columns. So if I duplicate it, you will see it will span 2 columns, but we have to tell it a new row. This happens all the time. You forget things like that. Remember to instruct it to add that new row. There we go. And let's change it now to exotic food. And let's not make the same mistake again. We need to instruct it to make the 3rd row. So we say new row, duplicate that. And then I'm just going to duplicate exotic, drag it under, click on it, and say for the strong of stomach. There you go. And we've made it, right? Lovely, lovely done. Of course, you're going to tell me, JP, but this thing doesn't look good. Look at all that different colors there. What are we going to be doing about that? So let's go into that. First, let's have a quick look at advanced settings. And advanced settings is going to allow you to do what you see over here: sortable elements, searchable elements, and show entries, where you just have certain ones that show. So for example, if we go to the top one here where we had this week with John and Jill, and we click on this one, and we go to advanced settings, and we say sortable table, click it on. Now I can sort this row according to the decreasing or increasing values in each of these columns. Right, that's nice if you have a long list and you want people to be able to search it. Searchable table is now a search box that is added over here. This will be also convenient for a very, very, very big table that you may have entered, can easily search there. Annual leave, very quickly achieved. And the last one is show entries drop down. So over here, what you can do now, it will show you a drop down. It's currently showing all. Let's make this a little bit bigger. It's currently showing all. If I click on it, it will show me 1 or 2. So if I click on 1, it's only going to show me week 1, 2, and I'm curious why week 13 is not there. Maybe I should add a new row after that. Now I'm curious, why doesn't it show that? Let me just go into table content, and I'm going to add here at the bottom a new row, just to see if that is the issue. Okay, and now, yes. Oh, okay, figured that one. Show 2 entries, show 1 entry, or it could also be that 3 entries and all, they are exactly the same. So this will show only 1 entry, this will show 2, it's not going to show the second. I thought it's showing you the second, but it's showing you 2 entries. This one is showing you 3 entries. So you don't actually need that. That makes sense now. Let's go back to this one. Let's go look at the styling so you can get an idea of how you can get rid of all these colors. And there's a lot of styling that is going on over here. You have your table header, table body, and if you add an icon on image over here, you can style that. And then you can also, for your search and show entries that we have up here, you can style that as well. I like clean tables. I don't like too many funky tables, and even the examples on the Elementor page for Ultimate Add-ons, you can see theirs are also very clean. Keep the tables clean. It makes it easy, especially when you go into responsive mode and they have to move around. This, of course, is not going to be working here. So this is a default option that is turned on in table body, and it's called striped effect. So if you go to table body and you go to striped effect, you will see it is defaulted to yes. So I'm going to remove it, and now everything will appear in this color. So the header you're going to be styling by itself. You can choose and change the typography. Let me see, Nobile. Okay, that's the one that I used, Nobile. And then you can increase the size. This is your normal styling. Let's make the weight, let's make it uppercase. and we can change the padding inside the column if we want to. We can change where it is within the column. So if you're working with money or currency, to the right flush is often more better. Then the row color. Now that is actually the font color of the row. So if I change that to green or red, you can see there it is changing over there. Let's put it on red so you can see it. But I'm going to put it on white for the following reason, that I'm going to go to the row background color and let's make that black. So now you can see how it will look if we change the header for that. You can add extra border to it. Again, it's something that I would be hesitant to do. And if you don't want those lines in between the border, you want it clean. I think they have an example here, like here. If you don't want that, then you click on this little one, apply to border, and it will remove the borders in your header. Style the table body is exactly the same as what I had just showed you. You can also go and change the alignment of these entries. So if you want to flush everything to the top, you click here. I like this. This is one of the ways I like to do mine. I think I did it here as well, yes. Or you can put it at the bottom, middle to the top, and again, flush it to the middle, to the right. It's not working that well here for the right. That's usually best for currency and accounting, and to the left, right. Play around with those. And then you have the same. You can change the text color, which is the row color over here. Let's change the text color here, something different. And striped effect, I switched that off. The row background color, let's put it on a light gray and reduce it even more. Okay, there we go. And then apply border too. So if you don't want a border, you just remove it. Of course, we want a border for that one. And then here, you can go ahead and play with your border, and you can also change the border color down here. Now, the icon image is something that you add to your entry over here. Let's go back to content and then go to table content. And for travel, let's find our travel over here, travel cell. We go to icon and image. And then here we select icon, and you can add your own image. And then we are going to look here. Let's see if we can find travel world. Yeah, I'm just going to add the icon here. Let's add the WordPress icon. So that will appear over here. And then we can go again to our styling. Icon image, and you can scale it, make it smaller, or you can make it actually very big, and you can make it like this. If you had a nice thing over there, I mean a nice icon, you could have even removed the title travel completely so that people can understand what it is purely just from the icon. But unfortunately, we have the WordPress icon there. We don't have a globe or a travel icon, but just to show you how that works. And then you can scale it. You can have before or after. Of course, there's nothing there, but if you put it after, it looks more to the center. And you have spacing. This will be the spacing between the icon and the title. Image spacing. There we go. And that's for the image. Image is down here and the icon is up here. The two are different. And this is how you build a table. It's really not as simple as that. It is as simple as that once you know how to build it, and after you know how to build it, it's really going to be a piece of cake. Let's have a look then at the last and the second option, which will be if you bring in a huge table from Excel. Going to type in table again, grab the table widget and drag it in over here. And now let's first look here at table header. It says, what is your source? And we've been doing it manually all along. Now I'm going to click on it and I'm going to choose CSV file. Then it says upload a CSV file. And when I click on that, it's going to open my media. So I'm going to bring in a CSV file here. And this is a 100%. Let me first show you where's my Excel. We have here again shift 1, shift 2, and shift 3. How many people were working on these shifts? On Monday it was 55, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we want to bring this into our page. So let's jump back there. I drag that file in here and I drop it. Now this is 100% the file that comes from Excel. And then after I insert it, you are going to see it says here please provide a valid CSV file. Okay, you're not going to see it now. I know lately I've been having some issues that my internet does not update my media browser immediately. But trust me, it is there. The problem is, though you are working in Excel, Excel applies a lot of formatting which these programs cannot read. It needs to go to comma separated values. So let me show you with all that mumbo jumbo what that means. If you are in Excel like this one, and you save the Excel file, it will not display. You will need to save it as something else. Now, in Microsoft Word, Control-Shift-S, which is usually save as in other programs, does not work in Microsoft. You have to go for F12, or you have to go up here on File and Save As. I'm a shortcut guy, so I just press F12, and then it gives me the option to save it. And what you need to do here is go to Save As Type. Then you click on this and you go all the way until you see the first one that says CSV, comma, delimited. And you choose this one. Let's just change it here and add CSV so we can distinguish between them. And you say save. And it's going to give you some possible data loss, error reading. You do not care about that. So let's go out. Now let's open it again and we drag in that new file. And just to show you, that file looks like this if you are displaying it as thumbnails. This is the original one. This is the one we just saved. So let's drag it in. And it's going to upload and probably not show me. Internet. And I'm going to say insert media. Trust me, it's in my library. Trust me. I'm going to show you insert media. And then it's going to display over here. So this is a much easier way if you are working with a humongous amount of data, or you get data from someone else and you just quickly want to display it. You don't need to go and enter everything over here. Like I said, what you realize, you are not going to be able to edit any of this data within your page builder, but you will be again able to apply everything else. You have your sort functions, you have your searchable table up here, and you have your show entries drop down. You have all of that. And you have your styling options. You can change your font, make it bigger, change the weight, you can change the color. And that is all of those things that we had done previously. You can do also here. I can hear the birds chirping outside. The sun is coming out and they're just going crazy. While we are here now, let's go look at the search and show entry styling that we can do. The label color, right? These are the labels that you see over here. Let's keep it on that light teal. And then input color will be red. So here is our inputs. You can see they are now all in red. And then input background color. Let's make that this cream color. Ugh. Okay. We're just doing to show you where it is. And then you also have borders that you can have here. I'm still confused sometimes by these things like double and dotted. Maybe there is a universe in which they have a use. Okay. Now I'm playing around. Ooh, yuck. Something out of The Simpsons, right? And you can change the size as well of the input. And then the bottom spacing. Give you some spacing between these fields and your table. And this is all been done with that file that we had saved from Excel into a CSV format, and then we had gone into this table over here under our contents, and we had imported it from our media library. There you go. These are the two table options that you get with the widget for ultimate add-ons for Elementor. And like I said, just remember my example of the mattress. We don't talk about mattresses every day, but once you need a mattress and your back is sore, you're going to be talking about mattresses, and tables, they are exactly the same. There are a few more things that I would have liked to see in this table widget. For example, you know, a little bit more control over the column width, that I could have been able to increase it or decrease it, the width by my choice. This is not in this one. As far as I could see, I couldn't find that. This is something that maybe in the future update they can give us. The only way you are going to manipulate the size of this one is either by adding more columns or you have to go into your section or your column and you change the width. Then you will have these things. Let's remove this one. Then you will be able to reduce the size of your entries in here and the table as a whole. I hope this was useful. I took more time with this tutorial and showed it very, very slowly, because the first time I did it, it took me a while, and then I didn't do it for a while, and when I came back the second time, it was like, oh, how do I do this again? So don't get dismayed, don't be discouraged. This is actually very, very nifty, and it works very well. One of the things that I did see after a few times of testing is that when you do it the manual way, it is slightly more responsive than your column here at the bottom. You will have to go and check, your columns, how you would like your columns to display under each other, column order when you do this. This is the only issue that I have with tables on any website, is that they become very hicky when you go into any kind of responsive view. But look here at the bottom, again, very nice that we have this feature here that you can slide through it if it becomes very difficult. So at least that is built into the widget, and it allows you to scroll through it horizontally. Not bad, Nigel, not bad. Have a lovely day. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. This is JP here with Websites for Beginners.